CUECARD17 presented by Rayhan, Professor of English, Cambridge Certified ELT Teacher, Certified IELTS Trainer by London Teacher Training College, and British Council Validated Trainer is welcoming you to Digital ICT Institute and Rayhan's Study Tech Center. CUECARD17. Describe a wild animal. You should say, what is the animal? What are the special characteristics of that animal? What is its habitat? Before learning and practicing the cue card, let's learn some vocabularies related to cue card and part 3. Necessary vocabularies. Grant, verb, to give or allow someone something. Grant, verb, to give or allow someone something. Example, they granted her an entry visa. They granted her an entry visa. Exploitation, noun, the use of something in order to get an advantage from it. Exploitation, noun, the use of something in order to get an advantage from it. Example, the protection of the Antarctic from commercial exploitation is an important goal of environmentalists. Example, the protection of the Antarctic from commercial exploitation is an important goal of environmentalists. To hold accountable for something means to consider someone responsible for something. To hold accountable for something. To consider someone responsible for something. Example, I must hold you responsible for the missing money. Example, I must hold you responsible for the missing money. Violate, verb, to break or act against something, especially a law. Violate, verb, to break or act against something, especially a law. Example, they were charged with violating federal law. They were charged with violating federal law. Endangered species, adjective, animals or plants that may soon not exist because there are very few now alive. Endangered species, adjective, animals or plants that may soon not exist because there are very few now alive. Example, tigers are now endangered species. Tigers are now endangered species. Conservation, noun, the protection of plants and animals, natural areas, and interesting and important structures and buildings, especially from the damaging effects of human activity. Conservation, noun, the protection of any plants and animals, natural areas, and interesting and important structures and buildings, especially from the damaging effects of human activity. Example, this fundraising program was established for the purpose of funding research and educating initiatives that aid in the conservation of endangered species. Example, this fundraising program was established for the purpose of funding research and educating initiatives that aid in the conservation of endangered species. Ecosystem, noun, all the living things in an area and the way they affect each other and the environment. Ecosystem, noun, all the living things in an area and the way they affect each other and the environment. Example, pollution can have disastrous effects on the delicately balanced ecosystem. Pollution can have disastrous effects on the delicately balanced ecosystem. Biosphere, noun, the part of the Earth's environment where life exists. Biosphere, noun, the part of the Earth's environment where life exists. Example, the biosphere extends from the deepest root system of trees to the dark environment of ocean trenches to lush rainforest and high mountain tops. Example, the biosphere extends from the deepest root system of trees to the dark environment of ocean trenches to lush rainforest and high mountain tops. Disorder, noun, an illness of the mind or body. Disorder, noun, an illness of the mind or body. Example, she suffers from an eating disorder. Example, she suffers from an eating disorder. derive something from something, verb. To get something from something else, derive something from something, verb. To get something from something else. The institute derives all its money from foreign investments. Example, the institute derives all its money from foreign investments.
Okay, dear students, once again let's see the cue card and this question before reading the sample answer. Describe a wild animal. You should say what is the animal, what are the special characteristics of that animal, what is its habitat.
Sample answer. To be quite honest, in general, I would say that I am actually quite keen on wild animals, especially the enormous ones that survive well in the savage life. Talking of a large animals, elephants are usually the one that comes across many people's mind, but in actual fact, they are small when compared to the largest animal in the world, the blue whale. Baby blue whales are big, even in the early days of their life cycle. At birth, they are about 7 meters long and weigh 2 tons. In order to nurture that huge body, they assume up to 200 liters of milk every day, and averagely they grow 80 kilograms more every passing day. In fact, they grow so quickly that I feel as if I could hear them grow. The young whales stay with their mother until they are a year old. During that time, the young whales learn to survive in the ocean. The mother whales teach their cubs how to hunt and fight off enemies. When young whales become adults, they are about 35 meters long and weigh approximately up to 130 tons. Adult blue whales can absorb an incredibly enormous amount of food, which is about 4,000 kilograms per day. Nowadays, blue whales are currently considered as an endangered species, and always I think that it's time for the world to raise its responsibility towards wildlife conservation. Next slides will be questions for part 3. Question number 1. Do you think animals have feelings and rights? Why or why not? I think animals can think and feel too. I'm sure you have heard of the story of a dog named Hachiko that waited for his owner's return every day for more than 9 years after his owner's death. Such remarkable loyalty shown by a dog made me realize that animals can have emotions too. I also believe animals should be granted rights so that there's a clear legal limit to human behaviors in relation to animals. Question number 2. Some people breed animals such as dogs for money. How do you feel about that? I'm fine with people breeding animals for money as long as they don't hurt the animals in the process. I know some people who breed dogs for a living, but I know that they love the dogs and they truly care for them. They would never want to see the dogs in pain, so I don't see anything wrong with such a practice. Question number 3. Do you think there should be laws to protect the welfare of pets and farm animals? For example, laws against cruel treatment. Why not? Absolutely. If you think about it, animals are vulnerable, defenseless, and completely under a man's control, in a man's charge. Nevertheless, I strongly believe that animals deserve to live their lives free from suffering and exploitation. People who disregard the well-being of animals should be brought to court and held accountable for violating animals' rights. Are there any wild animals in your country that are not found in any other country? I'm aware of only a few endangered species, such as the pheasant, Tonkin snub-nosed monkey, crested argus, and the Annam black muntjac. Question number 5. Are there any animal reserves in your country where wild animals can live in protection? As far as I know, there are several national parks and nature reserves across the country to protecting wild plant and animal species and their habitats. Question number 6. How do people feel about the protection of wild animals? For the most part, I'm sure people are well aware of the importance of protecting wild animals and endangered species. Particularly, many youngsters nowadays are actively playing their part in wildlife conservation by participating in animal conservation volunteer programs in remote areas of the country and sharing stories of illegal wildlife trade on their social medias in hope of raising overall animal welfare standards. Question number 7. What do you think are some of the benefits of humans from protecting wild animals? In my opinion, there are two main reasons to protect wild animals. One of them has to do with the protection of our ecosystem. Everything in the wild has evolved to work together to have a biosphere that sustains life. Yet, it is hard to know exactly what might happen to an ecosystem when even the smallest contributor to the ecosystem vanishes. Hence, wild animals as a part of the ecosystem of the world need to be conserved and protected. Plus, a lot of medicines used to help cure various health conditions such as heart diseases, disorders, and other illnesses have been derived from the chemicals produced by animals. If wild animals are gone, it will be impossible for humans to study and learn from them. For further information, you can contact Rayhan's Study Tech Center, Samad Mansion, 2nd floor, Falpoti, Masjid Gully, Mirpur 10, Dhaka 1216. Phone 017-8133-8676 or 015-345-45945. Thank you for your time and patience. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye.